Okay. Let's get to it. Let's get to work. Morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. Okay. Where are we? What's today? The 20th? All right. Yesterday we did a couple. I think 11:19 and 11:9. Yesterday we did Crazy Tavern Menu and Village Beast. Hey, what's up, Fitzy? Real Estate X. I got work with all the streams. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate that. Glad you enjoy them. These streams, if you are new to them, call it the Daily Encounter. Basically, every day, open this book up and try to create some sort of interesting little encounter, usually using a few different dice tables, just kind of written into the lines that we have for the day. It's a 5-year journal that I had and was like, you know what? Here's a fun use for it. So, hey, Construct. All right. Let's get a prompt going here. Since it's the right page, we'll do the back cover prompts. And, oh, I knocked it, but it's a 27. '27 gives us bitter endings. Bitter endings. Could be potentially another bummer. Another bummer of an encounter. Okay, so bitter endings. Lots of stuff comes to mind. Maybe because we just did the tavern meal stuff, I think about, endings in terms of desserts. I think about, oh, there you go, Data. Divorce. Or you could say, coffee is bitter. Bittersweet. I like that, Fitzy. I mean, we do all the time reasons for adventuring parties, like what brings them together and starts, maybe what ends them. What causes the great adventuring breakup. No, that's not. Gotta have the right kind of pen, otherwise I won't be able to fit anything on these lines. Yeah. What led to... I kind of like that from the character creation. It doesn't have to be sad, but something... Maybe we can lean on the bittersweet. But retired adventurer. The old grizzled vet. Why did they get out of the game? Okay. I can work with that, I think. All right. First table here. Kicking it off with, I think this will be I'm curious where this will go. Character creation stuff is always interesting. Hey, Stan. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time, ... Obviously, in the wars, let's say, or at battle, or on the front lines, like some sort of they've seen it. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their. Okay, what's a fun take on that though, rather than just what's up, Car? What is my content? You know, I ask myself that sometimes. So I'm a dungeon master, Dungeons and Dragons, really more in the gaming sense more than it is specifically like 5th edition or anything like that. And I make stuff. Sometimes with foam, sometimes with paint, oftentimes just designing the game. In this case, we're sort of brainstorming, kind of creating some encounter ideas, kind of out of nowhere. Yeah, they were the medic. Let's do that. I always have a story to tell about their time as a medic at war. Today's content, this is called the Daily Encounter. So every day, kind of pull open this book, and on the day, you know, whatever day it is, we come up with some sort of an encounter using a couple different tables to roll on. In this case, the prompt is the old barfly always had a story to tell about their time, ... In this case, it's their time, could be as a medic during the war. I think some sort of a treasure hunter. How about that? Their time treasure hunting. Thinking, you know, retired adventurer. We're thinking here about what are the types of things that people do in our worlds and then retire from. Could certainly be all right, Car. Give you one more chance, buddy. They could be, it doesn't have to be a what do you call it? Not that treasure hunting is certainly being a medic would be, but it doesn't have to be like a positive thing. It could be, you know, would they really talk? Would they really share stories about being an assassin? Certainly maybe like a bounty hunter. Old barfly always had stories. Had a story to tell about their time. I'm going to say as a bounty hunter. What's up, Data? Certainly could be something kind of magic oriented. Grave robbing, sure. All good construct. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time as a medic at war, treasure hunting, as a bounty hunter. Could also be like, I wonder if like maybe they delivered messages, you know? As a you know, as the, how about as the king's messenger? the adventures that came through. Thinking lady now, like spy. Sure. Sure. Could I think spy, could think politician, could think of maybe a traveling musician. Medic, treasure hunting, bounty hunter, king's messenger. Maybe assistant. Yeah, bard can be taken in lots of different ways, right? Bard is often a strictly sort of musical or artistic thing, but it's also, you know, craftspeople, handymen. How about their time in a traveling circus? That leaves gestures are usually the ones to break news. Sure. Strongest sorcerer. I do like the idea of them. What would they do at sea? If they their time, their life on a ship, their life at sea. I guess it'd be sort of discovery, right? They're what would it be? We already kind of hit treasure hunting, which could be certainly associated with land or sea. How about I like that, exploring at sea. Their time exploring the sea. Exploring the sea. That's the way to say it. Swashbuckling. We have to have one that's as an assassin. We have to have that. The old Barfly always had a story to tell about their time as a medic at war, treasure hunting, the bounty hunter, the king's messenger, in a traveling circus, exploring the sea. The worst retired assassin telling stories. Could be. Could be. Let's see what else. What else gets the... It's like, oh yeah, I've got a story to tell. Oh really? What did you do? I'm buried people. Crypt keeper. No, something magic. Oh yeah, Fitzy, we're gonna get to that. Wait till you hear the second prompt or the second table. Ooh, Mockbin, that's a good idea. As a sorcerer, I like the, because it gives a lot more flexibility rather than this being somebody epic. This person is associated to somebody epic. Love it. I find that when designing characters and worlds in general, I can get a lot more distance out of characters associated to greatness rather than great characters. You can only have so many great characters, you know, amazing, unbelievable stories attached to it. It's the dungeon master or the world builder's version of like main character syndrome. It's like, it's fine. We're fine. We don't need any more epic characters. Okay, the old Barfly always had a story to tell. At their time. Hello, Crane. Hello. Get some more pens. All right. Hey, T. Good morning as well. Secondary characters are probably more interesting. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time doing all of these amazing things. They had to retire when... ... They just had to retire. Whatever they were doing, whatever their epic, stories that they tell, they're like, yeah, but of course had to get out of the game. Didn't have much choice in the matter. Or maybe I did, but I just felt like I had to. Couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't actually literally do it anymore. How about when and this would cover, I think this word could work. I like that. Train their successor. Maybe this isn't the right word, but like their target asks them to, or like the subject, or like, there's something where some way we can some meaning we can attach to the subject of, no matter what they're doing here. How about maybe just like someone important asked them to? Train their successor. Ooh, they fell in love. Fell in love with the enemy. I think there's a lot of ground to that. Enemy in quotes. Oh, they were ousted, like they were bettered, like they were beaten. They failed hard. Yeah, say that. Okay. The old barfly always had a story to tell. What if they finally found it, or they finally like they caught the big one, right? They caught their white whale, so to speak. or it's like they peaked. Yeah, when they finally found the Holy Grail, when they I feel like these are going to be some interesting characters we roll. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time. I mean, you know, they were horribly injured. Someone important asked them to. They fell in love. Somebody better stepped in. They completed their life's work. Something like maybe they were cursed. Like they were forced to stop against their will. We have injury kind of, which would do that. You know, what if something happened to their employer? What if their employer is actually who died? Maybe they had to stop because it endangered others. Yeah, maybe it became too dangerous. Kind of, I like, so I want to get their employer died. Maybe it's not a curse, but almost like a premonition. Maybe they had a vision. Like, you know, it's like negative inspiration or something. Their friends outgrew them, elf aging kind of thing. Aw. I mean, I don't know if this fits, but you know, or if there's enough to this idea, but like the work grew stale, right? Or they became detached, disinterested. They fell out of love with their work. Or maybe they discovered, how about this? They found a new passion. Yeah. They found a new passion. Okay. All right. Like pottery. Exactly, Data. All right, let's roll a couple of these. I'm going to roll on the table. I think that's how I'm terrible at rolling on the notebook. 8 and a 6. The old barfly. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time as a sorcerer's apprentice. But they had to retire when their employer perished. So this becomes a heck of a prompt, because you know, the party's trying to track down a specific sorcerer, a mage of some sort, magic user, and everybody's like, yeah, such and such works for them. They're usually hunkered down in the tavern. And they go, and, oh yeah, no, I did work for them. Until you won't believe what happened, but I was there. I saw the whole thing. I wish I could tell you though, but whatever happened totally blanked my mind. Maybe if you take me along, maybe I'll remember. 5 and a 1. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time in a traveling circus. But they had to retire when they were injured horribly. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was in a circus once. Was there for years. I don't know how the place was, you know, the man in charge, the owner, manager, right under our noses. Just necromancer. Had no idea. That last hurrah, I barely made it out. Injure my leg now. I can't do anything like that anymore. 3 and a 7. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time as a bounty hunter. But they had to retire when they had a vision. Cool. See if it's. They had to retire when they had a vision. They're like, what was your vision? Well, it was who. I had a dream catching that I was sent after somebody. It had to be somebody that they cared about. It had to be somebody, you know, like a child or something like that, or a friend, their partner. They're like, yeah, I dreamt that I'd have to track down my partner, and so I got out of the game. Where are they now? I don't want to know. I actually like the partner idea, where it's like, are they doing terrible things? Like, I don't want to know. But if you want to find them, you know, be careful. I'm like, really? Just from a vision? It was a strong vision. Maybe as a bounty hunter, maybe that's how they did it. I'll probably do a second day. I'll probably do 2. That's been working pretty well. That way I don't get totally brain fried. 4 and a 5. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time as the king's messenger. But they had to retire when they completed their life's work as a messenger. What's the life's work? You know, they I think of like hey Connor, building roads, building inroads, right? They, in acting as the king's messenger, almost like right hand, you know, confidant, assistant, and the king had set out to accomplish something, and through their lengthy work together, that they had accomplished that. Maybe it was a terrible thing actually, but it was like it was their life's work. And like, oh yeah, we subjugated those orcs like crazy. You know, we demolished the enchanted forest, made way for a new capital city. I mean, it's beautiful. It's like, wait, what? Little barfly's actually a huge jerk. 8 and a 6. How about we switch it? A 6 and an 8. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time exploring the sea. But they had to retire when they found a new passion in life. All right, see a construct. A good one. Yeah, something about seawater was the perfect ingredient for, you know, this guy's old wine or something like that. He became he makes ale and wine now. Let's see, I think we can dig one more out. 4 and a 5. I think those are both new. No, they're not. It's 5. No, 4. We'll keep 4. We'll re-roll. Okay. The old barfly always had a story to tell about their time as a medic at war. They had to retire when someone better stepped in. Oh, dang. So maybe they were, you know, maybe they were not the best. Maybe they were sort of shamed. You know, yeah, they were a medic. Yeah, I did it. You know, out of necessity, like they made their life kind of doing that, like a Dr. House. Oh yeah, yeah, I did a great job, and then the Wonder Boy stepped in with his magic healing. You know, I never did think that. I never thought of this before. For whatever reason, somebody. It's like a fake cleric, like they're just an illusionist that's out there supposedly healing people and getting all these accolades and medals and stuff. The true medic is like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, does anybody follow up with all those people they supposedly save? I don't know. Good numbers for the king, I guess. Exactly, Connor. It's a good one. All right. Now we'll take a trip back in time here. Let's find another prompt. It's time for the 10th. All right. Use the back prompts. We got a 23. 23 comes to, we had this one before, appointed by gods. I guess if I can't remember exactly, then we'll roll with it either way. Appointed by gods. Well, obviously appointed by gods. We were just talking about clerics. Maybe different types of clerics. Not every cleric is made the same. Cleric is something I haven't really explored a ton in my games. I've never really had a long-term cleric player, you know, one-shots here and there, but so it's something that I've never been able to dive deep into. But clerics, oracles, and warlocks, yeah, the appointed by or the motivated by gods, I think could be. Yeah, Data, is that just because paladins are so dang broken in the player's favor? Okay, I think we can work with this. All right, first prompt, or first table here. They say their magic is from the gods, and they will use it to ... So we're talking missions from God, or something mighty. And I'm thinking the more specific, the better. It's kind of what I'm feeling here. So like something like, you know, to lighten the dark. It's like, okay, that's too broad. Like, what's a specific? How can we find to bring forth the cataclysm? They say their magic is from the gods, and they will use it to. How about like build like something like build shrines, maybe. Okay, let's start there. Let's see. Bring about, bring down. They will use it to. Yeah. Something about war certainly would make sense. Maybe it's an awaken. Maybe there's a yeah. Maybe that's their goal, is to awaken their god, or to awaken some new, or maybe it's about a war between the gods. Maybe it's just maybe they want to build an army. Perhaps rather than, how about like reclaim treasure? Reclaim like stolen artifacts or treasure. Let's say reclaim artifacts. Regrow the desert's interesting. Summon the elder ones. They want to save the clock tower, I think. Save the clock tower. Yeah, why does every mission from God have to be so serious? Maybe this is a weird idea. Maybe something like around balance. I could imagine certain deities that it's like, what if maybe it's okay. This goes against my specific thought, but I like the phrase and I want to use it. I'm gonna put even the odds. I kind of like the idea of, you know, some sort of imbued by the gods, but maybe not on a side. That's an interesting idea to me. Okay. Could do something around a mission being about history or retelling history, because you could really take that either way depending on where we go with the second list here. You know, fix history or fix the history books, let's say. Retell, because it could be that, you know, they've got it wrong, or it could be that they've got it right, but we, you know, we want it wrong. They say their magic is from the gods, and they will use it. What if they will use it to end them? Hey, Dom. Yeah, so this is the stream. It's called the Daily Encounter because each morning, basically use this 5-year journal, open it up to, you know, whatever page we're on, and we sort of use these prompts that I've put in the front and back cover of this book, and just sort of kind of dig ourselves out of this kind of encounter idea. So this one, the prompt was appointed by gods. So we took that into the direction of they say their magic is from the gods and they will use it to ... So we're kind of building out a list here. It's probably going to be 8 long. It'll be a D8 list. And then we usually twist it with a second. So the whole idea is to kind of create this sort of encounter builder with just a few lines. Okay, so they say their magic is from the gods and they will use it to, we've got build shrines, end the monarchy, build an army, reclaim artifacts, even the odds, fix the history books. I kind of like they say their magic is from the gods and they will use it to end the gods. I kind of like that. I like end arcane sorcery too. Yeah, thanks, Dom. Yeah, we've been doing it a bunch. It actually led me to create this new zine, which I just launched last week, which I'm very excited about. But it's basically the same idea, but with a bunch of stuff that's kind of created already. And I should also shout out the Discord because there's folks over there that do their own tables every day too. They say their magic is from the gods and they will use it to build shrines, end the monarchy, build an army, reclaim artifacts, even the odds, fix the history books, end the gods. Something like a... Oh, thanks, Connor. I appreciate that. Your review is welcome. Maybe something like a bridge or a doorway. Yeah, Mock. That's kind of creating something. Yeah, reshape the world. Maybe it's simple enough to say, open. What if? Ooh, I like this phrase, even though I don't know what it means, but that's part of the fun. What if it's open the doors? I think I like that a lot. Okay. Now, second table. Okay. Second table. Thanks, Data. I appreciate that. Yes, second table. So they say their magic is from the gods and they will use it to do one of these things that we said. They were called to their purpose when. So rather than getting into the nitty gritty of who's their god, what type of thing, what is it that called them? What was the event, cleric, paladin, warlock, oracle, whatever it is? What was the inciting event where it's like, oh, this is who I serve? So maybe the god saved them. Maybe they were saved from some type of death, drowning or something like that. If we so struck by lightning is a good one because that's a very specific thing. So I like that. And lightning is fun because it feels like on the one hand it could be purposeful, on the other hand it could be random. Like I'm thinking about like careless Greek gods, that sort of vibe of like, oh, you that? No, that was, I think we were having a party. That was just a mistake. It could be when, maybe they escaped. Maybe they're like the lone survivor. It's not a bad idea. Called to purpose when maybe it's when only they survived. Yeah, I can get behind that. A lot of different ways to take that. Oh, when they met their god at the masquerade. That's interesting. Well, rather than met, did they fall in love with their god? Else would be something, almost something sort of silly, like they wanted a game of chance, something where that they were just that lucky. I guess these other things are kind of luck or good or bad luck. So maybe we've exhausted that already, since only they survived or they were struck by lightning. Those are playing with chance. So maybe they sought the gods. Maybe they tracked them down. Maybe when they found the gods. They found a relic. They survived the trial. So I was thinking about, yeah, maybe with relic, perhaps they like they offended the gods, right? Maybe they stole. Maybe they stole from the gods. I like that. Yeah, something about trials. You know, the gods having tryouts, right? Passing the trials, passing the test, proving themselves. When they prove themselves, they something like it could be a strength thing. It could be honor. Maybe we play off of each of those. So a trial of strength, maybe. They completed the trial of strength. Yeah, killed. I was thinking sacrifice. I was thinking they completed the trial of strength. Whereas for 7, what if it's they proved themselves honorable or faithful? They demonstrate. Maybe that's it. They demonstrated their faith. It's not specific though. Trial of strength. How about they sacrificed enough? And how about sacrificed enough? And I think I like a lineage idea. So how about their time? It was their turn. Their time had come. You're good. Okay, so let's see. So this would have been on a Monday. We're time traveling a little bit, going back to the 10th, picking up days I missed. Sorry, construct. But we do get to do some rolling. Get to see how well. I did not roll a biome for your daily. No, let me do that. Got a 2 and a 7. By the will of gods. They say their magic is from the gods, and they will use it to end the monarchy. They were called to their purpose when they had sacrificed enough. Huh. So their purpose is to end the monarchy. And they were called to that when they had sacrificed enough. This feels like someone from a region, a people that was just devastated by the king. Devastated by the king. And basically had to sort of had to claw the power from the gods through some means. Like this is the, for good or for bad, this is the most pious, vengeful, I feel like, probably more of like feels more like a warlock, but whatever. It could work with any of the classes, obviously. That doesn't really matter. This is someone who was wronged, and yeah, they're looking to set things right, no matter what it takes. 3 and 5. They say their magic is from the gods, and they will use it to build an army. They were called to their purpose when they stole from the gods. Huh. So, stealing from the gods, building an army, not every god is kosher with all the other ones, right? They're not all simpatico. They're not all happy to be around one another. This sort of feels like a pawn. This sort of feels like a pawn. This feels like a thief took a job, right? And stole what they stole. Maybe not even realizing that they were getting into the midst of this like eons long feud. But now that they have it, and now that they are sort of stuck in between these gods, it's like, well, yeah, I've got this power, got this magic, and what am I gonna do? I build an army, or I fall, right? What choice do I have? And probably whatever they stole, be it sword, necklace, circlet, armor, whatever they stole is particularly powerful for them. That's where they get. So I could imagine like a staff, or I kind of like the armor of the gods type of vibe. Something that might make them particularly charming and more likely to be able to recruit and build an army, but it's something that they don't believe in, something that they never were particularly passionate about. An 8 and a 1. They say their magic is from the gods, and they will use it to open the doors. They were called to their purpose when they were struck by lightning. Okay. Got two thoughts on this one. One is, I'll do the silly one first, which is, yeah, bud. What'd you say there, Byron? Don't you think you might be misinterpreting the god's message on that one? It's like, no, what do you mean? As they open the door, the king's doorman. No. It's pretty clear. I was struck by lightning. The one message, my life's work. This is what I do. They open the door for the next guest into the palace. They're like, I don't know. I just think like if you were chosen by the gods, maybe there would be some higher purpose. Like, look, you weren't struck by lightning. You don't know. That's obviously silly, but fun. But certainly being sort of singled out, I think struck by lightning is sort of like a near death, experience. And so in that brief time, I feel like the it's almost like they briefly were at like the river Styx. They took a deal. They said, listen, I will open the doors. I will allow more of the undead to roam. Just let me live. Like that feels like a dark deal made with the underworld to me. Or a really charming doorman who feels very satisfied by their work. Could be either or. Life can take us in lots of crazy directions. They say their magic is from the gods, and they will use it to end the gods. They were called to that purpose when they completed the trial of strength. This feels like, for there to be a god killer out there, there's some cult, there's some group that says no, enough is enough. They have the power, that the trial of strength. What they have is power that they've wrenched from the gods. So the patronage in this case is really more of a truly sort of violent agnostic. I mean, they're not really agnostic. They believe in the gods, but they're opposed to them, and they're going to. I mean, I love this as inspiration for a villain of some sort. They're like, we're going to use mortal will to overcome the gods. Like, is there a better, more interesting motivation for villains in your campaign? They're like, wait, what are they trying to do? And they're just people, right? They're just mortals. And what horrible things would they have to do in order to accomplish that dark goal? All right, I'll try to squeeze one more, last one. 7 and 8, maybe 8 and 7. I think I might have to reverse this and re-roll. 5. Yeah. Okay. They say their magic is from the gods, and they will use it to even the odds. They were called to their purpose when their time had come. This is cool. Some of the gods are more, balance, right? Keeping things in alignment, keeping things running on time, keeping things a certain way, making sure that nobody, the scales don't tip too far in either way. So as a result, there's this lineage, there's this, these monks, let's say, and it's like, okay, your time has come. We are the equalizers. We are the ones. It's like, we're dispassionate. The whole point is that we don't pick a side. But when it becomes so lopsided that somebody needs to step in and correct that balance. Now, what's the balance? Balance could be between kingdoms. The balance could be between the sort of feuding gods themselves, or it could be between dark and light. Like, hey, this is a god of shadow. You can't have shadow if there's too much dark or if there's too much light. You've got to have that right balance. That would be an interesting angle, I think, it sounds like a villain, but it could certainly be a cleric or a paladin in a game as well. Hey, what's up, boss? No problem at all. You're all good. Cool. So, like I said, we're hacking away at our backlog. Catching up in no time. Looks like 2, 4, 6. Only 6 days missing. Not bad at all. And that takes us through 11/20. I haven't checked. So I started this in September. It was the end of September, though, I think, right? I think it was the end of September. So a couple months. Not bad. It's Vietnamese Teachers Day. Well, happy Vietnamese Teachers Day. You get a day off? Glad to hear it. You earned it. Well, thanks, everybody. That'll do it. Discord link in the chat. Zine link in the chat. It's a great way to support the channel, support the stream. Pick things up again with tomorrow. We'll do 21st tomorrow. We'll do another backlog day. U2 Construct. Hope everybody has a good one. And hope to see you guys real soon. See ya.